folks, welcome back. Let me get my rinky-dink microphone set up here. That was South Africa that just got pummeled. We had Ireland get pummeled. There's so much footage out there, so many different countries getting pummeled right now that I couldn't pick which one to choose, so I just kind of showed you that one. All right, so our seed site is currently no data. All right, this is an old image that I used from a long time ago, and something going on there. I'll just leave that image, let it kind of speak for itself for a minute while we come over here to this site for a second. Okay, and now let me get this set up for you guys here. Not much activity. Okay, from we got it set up at the very beginning of the 14th at 0, so I'm just going to kind of go through this slowly. You can see we have this CME, very faint, but coming off the side here. Okay, so that's our first little faint CME. We have this big old patch, this big spire that's glowing. I'm expecting something probably coming out of that region here pretty soon. Not in this segment, but here soon. Now, here's a secondary CME up here. Very faint, but you can see it. All right. It looks like it has a dark patch right in the middle right here. So, it could be possibly another object-induced CME. Then we have another one down here. See this one scooting through the frame right there? And then another small one up there, small one up here. Okay, but nothing too major today on the 14th. Okay, so I'm going to show you just what little bit they got here on this instrument here. We'll scroll back and forth a little bit so you can see today's activity. There was part of it right there too. All right, so not much to report on because we don't have much data, but there's a little sample that we did have a few CMEs come off the sun today. So there's our activity. So let's come on over now to this. I'll get this pulled up for you guys. One more. And scroll up. There we go. I'll make a few other little adjustments. There we go. Okay, here's today's box right here. You can see all the different little ripples and all the different activity we had today. Let me go in tighter on this because it's not showing up very well on my screen, I don't think. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now everybody can see it a lot better. And this one reached the M class, so we have like an M1. And this one just barely almost reached M class right there. That's going into the 15th now, all right? And that was one that was in that little segment I showed you, but just not much to see there. So there is that. Yeah, peripheral vision and blink rate are so important. Who said that? Who said that? Somebody. I can't see it. Something skill. Yes, that has a lot to do with it. Peripheral vision, flicker rates, all kinds of different stuff. So, we'll talk about that stuff later. Let me finish up this report. Okay, pulling back here so we can see the rest of this page. Oh, come on now. Our C flare potential 90%, M flares up to 20%, X flares 1. I would say this M flare potential I would put it a little bit higher, maybe at 25%, because we just had an M flare and then almost another M flare right here. So these last two spikes, this one's an M flare, this one's almost. So I would say that M flare potential was up a little bit higher. X flare potential 1%. That should be a little bit higher too. But We'll see. Here's our KP index. Again, with this, we had another small event right here equal to this one over here. Okay, remember last night we were showing how this was correlating with the Schumann, okay? So note, the big blast, the secondary mid-range blast, then the last one dying off, then another blast here, and then current conditions we're having a KP 2.5, right? So we are getting little waves. They're not strong, but there are little inbound waves of energy. And just to show you again, look at this, how that graph is going to correspond again here with the Schumann. All right, here was the big blast, the two middle, small and medium blast, the small one, and then here's today's right there, matching up with this right here. Okay, this is just right now. It'll show up on the Schumann probably 4 to 6 hours from now once it absorbs. Okay, so we'll be watching that closely. I want to come down here. Here we go with our auroras. Please, Lord. Here we go. Now they're brightening up. They're getting thicker, they're wider, and getting brighter green. So currently we are absorbing, we are getting hit with something, either a strong solar wind or just a light, scraping of the CME or something. It hasn't gotten into yellow or red, but it's getting close. So we'll watch this carefully, because you can see right here, this latest green line shows we're getting close to seeing a yellow or red event here, a little bit stronger, and it's on. So let's come over here, open up the tracker. And while we're doing that, I forget to greet everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me your time this late at night. Even on the replays, you guys that are watching the replays later on, thank you for dedicating some of your time to come here. There's all sorts of other people out there you could be listening to and watching. So, all right, you could see that this CME was heading away. This still looks like the data from yesterday. Go ahead, finish loading up and show it to me in real time. Yeah, that looks to be yesterday's event, and we still have 3 to 4 little small pops that came off today that don't look like they've made it up here on this yet. So let's just zoom back out of this while we can. All right, so there's your tracker. Did we cover everything? Yep, we did here. Let's come on over to the Schumann and do some scooching and smooching. All right. Scroll this up a little bit better there. Okay, there's your readings for today. So since our last report on this big event right here, matching up with the KP index again, we came out of it pretty solid, but then we had our little weak event. You see this this darker area right in here? It wasn't too bad. You can still see the other lines down below, but we did have a little weakening event after it right here. Sorry. And then, boom, just a small blast that we absorbed earlier starts to perform its screeching event. You can also see a shadow right in this area where it got weak right before it started to grind again. And interesting how the KP index is lining up with this now. About 6 hours, 7 hours later. Sometimes it's sooner, but I'm not really interested in the actual time frame gap or whatever. It's just the fact that this is indicating the same things that the KP is because of what's really taking place. Let's come on over to the earthquake report tonight. Hopefully everybody got to see Dutch's report. That was a good one. A lot of the stuff that both he and I were talking about hasn't panned out, so that's kind of good news, all right? I don't mind being wrong when it's not doing damage, you know what I'm saying? We're not toppling cities. So, let's just take a peek at this one right here. This is a 4.4. It's a little further north than our deep spot at 390. And let me pull back just a little bit better so you guys can see this thing over here. We good? We good. All right. So that's not our deep quake for the day. Doesn't look like there was too many deep quakes here today. So let's move on up into the system here. If I can get my... Okay, now to this area where we've had our quake swarm the last couple of days, the bigger quakes at the beginning of this plate boundary right here. We've had two today. This is a 5.1 at a depth of 10. And another 5.1 at a depth of 10. Yep, they're both 5.1 at a depth of 10. Yep, identical quakes right here, just off of this fracture zone. That's that 5 energy that we're talking about being in the region here. Okay. Luckily, these aren't 6s. I'm thankful to see that these aren't 6s. When we go back to this KP index real quick, sorry, I'm bouncing back and forth here. This lull right here, you see how we came off all this energy and we absorbed, and then we had this lull? I believe that this lull saved us right here. A lot of damage and this was a chance for the Earth to breathe a little bit, and we'll get into that here in a minute too. Okay, so instead of going 6 and 7, the Earth took a lull and had a chance to breathe, and everything seems to have stayed at the 5 range. Because there's 5.1, there's 2 5.1s right there. Here's your 5.9. So there's that 6 potential energy right there. Wouldn't surprise me if this was a 6. We know how they, USGS reports. So mid-range 5 to that 6 energy in the area, okay? 5.1 right there to depth of 86. Let's come on over to this area where we're having a quake swarm before. This is a 5.0 over here in the band to see. This one might be a deep. Yeah, this is a 4.2 down at 434. Not super deep, but it's a deep one in this region. So some energy released here. Let's go this way first. All right. Thank you guys for bearing with me. There's a 4.6 at a depth of 10, mid-range 4. There's a 4.8 at a depth of 53, almost a 5. Okay, so mid-range 4, 5, even that 6 potential energy in this region. Pushing up this way, we got 4.6 at a depth of 70 and a 4.4 at a depth of 227. So that's a little stronger at the surface, that mid-range 4 right there. Look how empty and naked this part is. Watch out, Japan, for still potential of a 6. Okay? Taiwan here. Sorry, coming up here to Japan. Same potential up here for a 6. They did have a 4.1 at a depth of 194. That's some energy being released, but doesn't kind of match up to the potential that was here. Remember, we saw a 6.1 out here yesterday that this is that energy that both Dutch and I agreed on was coming up through this area, and this open area needed filling in. We had our 6.1, not much since, okay? Nothing around the fulcrum point. It jumps this fulcrum point, usually drops off 2 quakes, and looky here, 2 quakes. A 4.2 at a depth of 189, and a 4.9 at a depth of 115. Mid-range 4 to 5 energy, again, right there, coming along the system, breaks out at this fulcrum point. Nothing along this part. I'm surprised this part hasn't done anything in a while, but it jumps over to here. We got a 4.3 in Iran at a depth of 26 there. Let's get that out of there. Come on over. Now, here's some activity in this region that I was expecting. Let's come up here to Italy. This is a 4.4 at a depth of 12, all right? We got Mount Etna going off, and it went off pretty good. If you watch some of the footage, you can see by how tall the lava fountains shoot up, you can kind of tell how much pressure is down below. So when it's a violent type eruption, that means you got a lot of pressure down there, all right? And it's still there. It's still in the region. That thing is... it did vent a lot of pressure, and this earthquake also have released a lot of pressure. So we might see that actually kind of calm down, that volcano calm down, especially with that dip in the KP index I showed you there, how it's correlating with everything. So this might kind of calm down. Same with Iceland. Iceland might calm down a little bit as well. All volcanoes kind of went off there with all the pressure, and they might calm down here a little bit. Here's a 4.3 at Italy at a depth of 358. So here's a deeper one right here. So we've had two quakes here at Italy. A deep one at 358 and a surface one at 12.8. Well, just subsurface 12.8, but both mid-range 4 right there. Some energy being released there. That's good. I'd still watch all the way out through this zone, all the way out to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. They're not showing anything for Iceland here, and they didn't either yesterday. Let's 7-day all magnitudes. All right, here's your 7-day all magnitudes, but this is all stuff that looks like from a couple of days ago. Let's go take a peek at this date. That's from the 10th. That's from the 10th. The 8th. The 8th. Anything more recent than the 10th? See, all this activity kind of started dying off here on the 10th. Now, while we're here at Iceland, whoops, let me back, wrong one. Get back to normal here. Pull that down. All right, so currently, no major quakes here at this peninsula at Iceland. And something I want to show at this point right now. So let me come over here. And I'm going to play this quick little article real quick here. Not this part. Come on now. Oh, I know. So, they're talking about Iceland here. Let's see if I can get this volume going.
The Earth's crust splitting open at the surface, and it's probably only the beginning.
Oh my God!
Residents and visitors in Grindavik have seen hundreds of tremors. The violent rumbling cracking roads, buildings, and infrastructure, sparking a state of emergency and the evacuation of thousands, like Hans Vera.
We are a little bit desperate, a little bit paralyzed.
For now, the silence of anticipation is deafening.
But we are still waiting. It is a danger. We are expecting it, but we don't know when.
See these fissures, these cracks in the ground? When all this area had some major uplift prior to these evacuations, that's what made them think that they were going to have an earthquake or a volcano, right? You look into this crack. This is a fissure right here in the ground. All right, when the earth swells up and then maybe all that pressure underneath releases or recedes, it leaves an empty pocket on the underside of the crust. And this can either fall in like a sinkhole, or from the expanding upward is stretching the skin of the earth. The crust of the earth is being stretched and ripping. Okay, this is what I was telling you. We will see fissures and sinkholes, and this is a fissure that's opened up right next to the volcano there from the uplift. If we come back over here, where's this one shot?
It is a danger we are but
For now, the silence of anticipation is death.
Oops.
For now, the silence.
See the
of
steam coming out of these fissures?
but we are still waiting. It is
Okay, did you see the steam coming out of these fissures there? That's that pressure underneath tearing the surface, and that steam has a bunch of sulfur dioxide in it. That's sulfur dioxide right there coming out of the ground in these fissures right next to where we're about to have. This is where they might have their eruption, not at the actual volcano right here where this is a new fault. This right here, you guys, these cracks in the ground right here, these are new fault networks that are opening up from underneath. Especially this, the bigger crack with steam coming out of it. Are you shitting me? I wouldn't be standing there filming that. You need to get out of there. Look at the drop in land right here. Okay, I want to pause right there. Do you see this level compared to down there? That's probably, realistically in scale, it looks like over a foot, maybe 18 inches, somewhere right around there. Underneath this ground, pushed up, and then when it sloughed and fell away, this sloughed and fell with it. And now we have a new fault right here. Okay, this isn't just a crack in the ground right here. There's two different levels of land. This is 18, maybe 2 feet, 18 inches to 2 feet higher than this section of road now. That land uplifted or this one sank, either way. And there's steam coming out of that. You see that? And we're going to be seeing more and more of this stuff around the world, okay? As the expanding and contracting of the Earth continues like this, with these solar events absorbing, causing, our core to heat and swell. All these, expanding, contracting events is going to cause more of these tears and rips in the crust. It's just like an egg cracking when you overcook it from below, okay? And this is today. This is today, right? Current in Iceland right now. This just happened earlier today. So now you see the drop right here as he's walking by. Here it's a little more even. You can see maybe it's 2 inches, but over here we have a major drop right here. Look at this again. Okay, so this is the activity I expect to see more of when we have these solar events, especially big ones. We take in a lot of energy. We expand and contract. We get our earthquakes along the plate boundary lines, and if we don't, it causes other places to upwell and crack and have volcanoes. All right, so let me take a sip here. I think that was about all I wanted to show you in that one. Oh yeah, now let's come over here. This is our SO2 that's still coming up through the crust, okay? All the perforations in the crust. You can still see we have a country divided. Half of it's got sulfur dioxide bleeding out. The other is very pockmarked. This one here on the coast here that I was a little concerned has really weakened. This one has strengthened. This one over the Bay Area is about the same strength. It's just moving more this way towards the water, towards the bay. It used to be up here. Let me go in harder so you can see the bay area. Here's the North Bay. It used to be up above here. Now it has shifted and kind of gone more down into the populated area. All right, so there's that. The rest of these, and I mean, here's the East Coast. I can't pick out certain spots, but with the lakes on there, you might get a good idea where you're at. Here's the Ohio-Mississippi Junction, the Ohio River Valley of Mississippi Junction right here at the New Madrid. So that gives you a reference. These would be like Alabama, Mississippi, lower states, Louisiana, Tennessee, Arkansas, or Tennessee, Kentucky area. And then up through Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York. That's that whole area right there. So I remember a long time ago, it was, I think it was BP Earthwatch or somebody spotted 4 of these little dots. There's like 4 of these dots right here along the coast of California, and he did a video, and everybody freaked out. They're like, "Oh my God, it's the big one! California's gonna have the big one." There's SO2 coming out of the mountain, a couple small spots, and it literally turned the YouTube world around for 4 little dots, and now here we are years later, and look at this. I mean, if you'd have showed this back then, people probably would have had a heart attack, you know. Here's China. China was really dark the other day when we had this this swelling event, this heating up swelling event from down below. Excuse me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. All right, there we go. So you can see there's still some dark bands in here. They're getting hit with hail and all kinds of nasty snow and stuff in this area in China. And then we have all this happening to them too. So that is not a pretty place to be right now. You can see India's still got its event going on here. We're over here, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq area. Dark patches around there. And this is all that sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur, sulfur, sulfur coming up out of the ground because of the swelling from underneath. Alright. Here we go. Down here in South Africa. That's what I just showed you was the devastation from storms down in South Africa. All these places are getting... Certain places are getting hit. And you can kind of tell why. I'm not going to say it, but it's the unspoken word. We can kind of tell why. Anywho, let's back out of that and get on over to this forecast. Oh, my door's opening by itself again. Come on in. Sit down and enjoy my show, too. So used to that stuff now, it doesn't even bug me anymore. Alrighty. Just don't short out my camera, that's all I ask. Alright, here we go, set up on this. Let me play the loop real quick. Last time we looked at this, it was just showing this event down here. A couple of... No, it's not showing anything. Let it load up real quick. We got new data that just came in, so let it load up. But the last time we were looking at it, it was just that event down south, some stuff coming in from the northwest, and when they collided together, it looked like it happened offshore, so we didn't have to worry too much about that. We're getting there, almost done here, loading these frames. Alright, there's your new updated loop. And you know what? This has been bugging me. I don't get enough lift out of this. I'm trying to get a little bit better angle on this camera for you guys so you can see this better. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to move this and try to get just a tad bit higher. I got a funky way of having to stack books and get every angle just right with the camera, and a broken tripod, but guess what? I'm Generation X. I watched MacGyver. And if any of you guys remember MacGyver, he could save the world with a Swiss Army knife. Alrighty, so let's get to the very beginning of the loop right there. Back up a frame or two. Alright, here we go. This is opening frame, 10 p.m. or midnight, nighttime of the 14th, going into the morning of the 15th. You see this coming on shore here at the panhandle of Florida and into Alabama there. Intensifying it through the noon hours. There's the end of convection, kind of dissipating at the end of convection. This, let's pray it just stays that way and it doesn't intensify, okay? The 15th, you know what? I really need to go back to the 15th and look that up. Sorry, I was... So 15, that'll be the 12th. It would be our last day of data. I just want to see what kind of energy is coming off here on the 12th. If we can. Yeah. We'll let this load up for a second. I want to see what kind of energy is coming off the sun on the 12th. If we need to adjust our weather forecast at this point here, because at the end of convection on the 15th, this little region right here and this approach in southern Florida might have the intensification effect, possibly. Okay, is it done? Really? Can we just get this thing to load up like it usually does? Oh, now it's loading backwards. Alright, you might have to leave the room if you're going to interfere with the electronics like this. Alright. It's taking its sweet old time, isn't it? And it's going backwards. It's 22, then it went to 20, now we're at 23. Yeah, mind of its own. Alright, well, anyways, let's just get to this weather forecast. At this period, this is the end of convection. We'll still have the chance for intense thunderstorms in this southern region right here, even the tip of Florida. We have this new storm making landfall in California. You people in California, watch out for heavy rains, because if it dumps a lot of water, you might have mudslides in your burn areas. Snow up here in northern Montana as we go into the nighttime of the 15th. There's your morning of the 16th. Still scattered chance for severe weather back here in Alabama and Mississippi. Okay, so even though you made it through the nighttime, they're still showing a chance for severe weather here on the 16th right there. Then it stays offshore. We got this low wrapping up here in Canada by the end of convection on the 16th. Still a little bit of onshore flow here from the west coast. This thing wraps up. You'll have some high winds through this area in Ontario and stuff when that low really gathers steam right there and winds up like a top. That's the morning of the 17th, the noon, the end of convection here. Now, depending on what happens here on the sun on the 14th here, today, we didn't see it. Well, it wasn't much. The 14th was rather quiet, in fact, now that I remember. So I would expect this to kind of remain similar to what it looks like. No intensification, at least, more than what they're showing. Okay. I mean, that possibility still exists, but I don't see it adding anything to it right now at this point. So the nighttime of the 17th, the whole East Coast is going to get a little bit there. And that's the morning of the 18th. Noontime, you see this winding up here. These two air masses are colliding offshore now, thankfully. The backside is going to whiplash the Maine a little bit with severe weather, snow, possible icing up in Canada there. But dodged a major bullet right there. And then it moves off the nighttime of the 18th. There's the morning of the 19th. There's the 19th. A little bit of something gathering there. This is the morning of the 20th. Severe weather here at the end of convection down at Louisiana on the 20th. Here, this is the morning of the 21st here, just off the coast of South Carolina. It skirts the coast. Okay, these two air masses, this and this collide right here. Boom, boom, right there. That's the end of convection, sundown, November 21st, okay? There is an icing event in between these two air masses, so as they collide, there could be the chance for an icing event in that region. Okay, you also see this intensification coming up down here. Looks like it's coming on shore. No, it doesn't. So, actually, as these blend together, it pushes it offshore and dissipates into the nighttime hours. But this is still a nighttime, pretty healthy storm. It's going to drop snow, rain, sleet. There, the morning time is a chance for intensification right there. That's a severe weather at, say, 7 in the morning for them. This will be the noon time for this area. No, 1 p.m. So midday for this region, New York. This is mostly out on the coast, but this up here is in New York, Long Island, going up into New Hampshire and Vermont. So, boom. All right, these frames right here, starting right here, the morning of the 22nd to the noon hours of the 22nd to the end of here on the 22nd. That's a wallop right there that we'll have to keep an eye on. This is a little further out than this will change, but then we go into the nighttime of the 22nd as it skirts Maine and Nova Scotia, and then it goes kind of all the way out there. The morning of the 23rd, noon, convection. All right, another small storm on the backside of this huge low. Look at this thing. Once it, see that when we move it, put it in motion there, this whole huge comma shape, the actual cold air that's back behind it gets sucked in right here and creates another low. With this event right here, snow, ice, rain in Missouri, around 10 p.m., well, midnight, their time, November 24th. So at the midnight hours, going from the end of convection into the midnight hours of the 24th, there's a potential in this region for that. Even here into the morning hours of the 25th, it goes into Illinois, Indiana, still in Missouri, even into Ohio in the noontime. Even stays residual back here, this little purple. You see purple here, purple here. So these 4 or 5 frames all have that icing purple event in it right there. All through the day, even into the nighttime now, the 25th, it moves up here into Indiana, Ohio. So when those two air masses collide, it's going to be an event there that could have some icing. So, and lots of snow on the backside, high winds. You see all these millibars when they get really tight, that's high winds. Okay, so these storms are going to pack a punch. They're getting bigger and bigger and getting more organized. And look how these two dance around each other. Look at that. Almost like a Pisces type dance right there. Okay, so let's back up. Here we were. This is still the night of the 25th, icing in Indiana, Ohio. It goes into Pennsylvania by the morning of the 26th. The icing goes up into New York the noon of the 26th. The icing continues up into Vermont and New Hampshire by the end of convection or sundown out there. And then at the nighttime, there's still this icing event up in Maine. So that's going to be quite a wallop, like I said there, too. All right, that's about all of it. Tail end shows this storm coming in to the Pacific Northwest on the 28th, but that's so far out that we don't really know. And So, Thanksgiving fall on, let's see, on the 24th this year? I'll have to go look it up. We'll do a Thanksgiving weather report for travelers and stuff when we get a little closer to it, because this is still a little far out. So, all right, there's your weather report, all that great stuff. Now we will X out of some of this. Don't need that one. That one eats up a lot. We'll keep that. We'll keep that. That one. Lose that. And that. And the forecast model. Come on over here to my channel. And see if we can pull up something to look at. Oh yeah. That's something else I wanted to talk about tonight, too. I guess we're going to do that, huh? Alright. Bingo, right here. Let me make sure all the ads get their chance. Alright. Showed you guys this before, in case anybody's new here. Again, I gotta go over this real quick. Now, the reason why I keep going over this is very important. This is like the first sign, the beginning of Revelation 12 right here, okay? And this day, this image right here, and the one that's after it, was the beginning of what changed my life forever. It just so dramatically and in such a 180. It's just unexplainable. Anyways, we're just going to try to get through it anyways. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Now, this is September 10th of 2017. This is 13 days before the Revelation 12 sign in the stars, okay? Back at this time, I was not early in my Christian, but I was well established kind of in my Christianity, and pretty good believer and faithful. And I was seeing real changes in my life that only God could have done. So at this point, though, in my life, I was shown this, all right? And this is Nibiru and Nemesis, all right? And I'm going to try to get this to play a little bit here.
It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all. Because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun.
Let me make this larger. There we go. All right. Right here, this is this little cone of plasma. It's hitting the surface and spreading out, making this dark red ring, this damage ring or impact zone. Sticking out in front here, this red thing, this red sphere is Nibiru, all right? Now, this was foretold in the Bible, but the way it's read in the Bible, it sounds like this event happens after the star alignment, all right? So as a believer, I had heard that the star alignment had been forecasted by Stellarium. It's a computer program that if you type in a date, it will adjust the stars and show you what the heavens look like on that date. Or you can move the stars around, and in reverse, the computer would kick back a date that would correspond with how you laid out the stars. So Stellarium kind of stumbled upon this actual star configuration matching Revelation 12. And I've shown you the star. I'm sure you're all aware that star alignment actually took place. That's a 2,000-year-old prophecy that only happens once. That alignment with the way Jupiter comes into the belly of Virgo and rotates for 9 months. I mean, that is clearly a sign from God, right? It's a celestial signpost. You've reached a certain part in space, all right? It's like we're going forward through space, and here's an off ramp. Here's a celestial signpost saying, hey, you're getting close, right? Well, in that prophecy, it says, once you see that star alignment, then another sign appeared. A great red dragon that that appeared in front of the woman to devour her child. Well, if you read it correctly, it says this appeared in front or before the woman. The translation of that word needs to be correct because this stood in front of the woman. It's standing in front of the woman by 13 days. It stood before the woman 13 days before, all right? This is a huge stellar core. It's sucking plasma off of our sun, causing an X flare. This is like an X10, all right? This is the other sign in the Bible. This is the dragon of Revelation. And it's like a black hole, all right? It sucks things up and eats them. It comes to devour her child, all right? Because it's like a neutron star, a stellar core, burned out binary. You see another planet right here, this Nibiru type stellar core orbiting the bigger one, okay? Now, something else, while we're on this subject, that's why I had this one pulled up, and that's not the right date. Oh, I backed out of it, didn't I? Come on, last go. All right, you hit last go. You come over here to the year, scroll down to 2017, go across, and you pick up September. Boom. There's your little calendar. You pick up the 10th, click on it, and guess what? The same old instrument that we're used to doing our report on every night has our event. You guys ready to see it now? Oh, I bet you are. You guys are probably getting excited now. Oh, if this thing will load up. That's why I had it on there. Already loaded. Come on now. The audience is waiting. Let's go, Google. Yeah, now they're holding up. They're like, wait, maybe we shouldn't load this up right now. Come on. What's going on here? Oh, I see. Well, we'll just have to be patient in the meantime while we're watching this. You see this tail end of that previous event. Did you see the round object with the magnetic field hit? This is the tail end of it getting stretched out. Why is this taking so long? It was up and running smooth just a minute ago. Yeah, take that one down. Take that one down. Something. Let's try it again. Huh. All right, well, it's taking its sweet old time here, I guess, while we're waiting. I'll come over here because I was going to show you our angle of this event from a different angle, because back in the good old days we had stereo A that was on the back side of the sun, and you could see these events from a different angle. Come on, seriously? I only have one other page open. Why is this taking so long? All right, there's our event. Boom, right there. And you see all the proton storm debris that follows this event. agonizingly long. 2 more frames. There we go. Phew. All right. Now you can see the tail end of that first event. And then here comes our big event. Boom. All right. And that was like a X9 or X8.9 or something. So that was a pretty big one. There was an X10 a day before this. All right. But anyways, I will try to catch this one frame here. Boom. Let's see if we can zoom in on this a little bit better. Pull it over for you. And do. Alright. You can kind of tell here. By the way our plasma is going up here, kind of curving over. You see how it's splaying out and going down this way. Let me tint this just a tad bit. We have our bigger object is right back here. This black circle right here. And there's another core right in front of it. You got plasma reaching out to the moon or the other core. I call it a moon of this bigger object. It's a satellite of this object. Out here, and you see plasma reaching out to it, and other plasma coming out, reaching and curving over the backside of the bigger object. And there we are, September 10th, 2017. So it got captured on this one, and when, let me do something here real quick. This object appears to be bigger than our sun, okay? So it might not be orbiting our sun. Our sun might be orbiting it because it's bigger. Now, when we start this, whoops, I'm going to go in reverse here. There we go, forward. Look how fast that goes by. See how slow that one goes by? And then this thing comes and just rips right through the screen in one frame. Bam! Like a freight train. See how slow everything's going right here? I don't change the speed. This thing just comes, boom! One more time. That might be our sun approaching the perihelion of this other object. We just went zinging past it. As we approached it really fast, we whipped around it. If you see, that thing is standing still, and we just zoomed past it, maybe. I don't know. There's different perspectives. We're not the center standing still. Everything's in motion out there, so. But quite a shot that our that this satellite captured of an old event there. All right, so back to this. This is the dragon of Revelation 12, the real Nibiru, the real Nemesis. I was shown this by divine entity we know as God. So after that, 13 days later, we had our Revelation 12 star alignment, okay? Everybody started looking for Nibiru and the dragon right after that, and nobody captured it because it happened before. The dragon stood before the woman, in front of the woman, 13 days before, in front, okay? So there's our nemesis right there. That's why I watch this instrument like a hawk, because it's out there. All right. And when we interact with that, earthquakes and stuff go really off the... Same with hurricanes and all kinds of weird stuff on that. All kinds of demonic attacks when that thing happens. So we are going now to our spiritual report. We pulled up that image last night, or this image last night. Let's see, what's a good one to read by? Where is a good one to read, my lord? No, 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 no. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to do the reading. You guys made it this far. I'm trying to show you something cool and something different instead of the same old image every night. But, I guess we will just go to this one. What happened to the one I was looking for? Oh, I know where it is. Back up. Hold that thought there, before YouTube, before you start playing your ad. I think it's it's that one. My bad.
Red.
Alright, so hopefully you guys have seen this angel before.
You can
This
see a
back
lot
to us.
better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here.
Alright.
Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish.
Alright, this event happened on October 5th of 2017, 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. Mary shows up, the God Eye shows up, an angel shows up, 10 days, 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. Then we have something else that happened the day before this. So, after the Revelation 12 sign, 10 days after the Revelation 12 sign, my camera captured this.
You can see we're still in the garage with our same display right here. And this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything, and I captured this one. And we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw, she's smiling, she's looking down and she's holding a baby, and here's the baby's head right here, here's the face, the back of the head, here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. See, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her, and you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th, so this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God.
Alright, that's about halfway in between where you can see her face, her profile, and the baby's head a little bit. Can any of you guys see this? There's the baby's head a little bit better. Alright, and there's the woman holding the child. She gave birth, October 4th, 2017. Okay, so we're going to leave that image up there while I do a reading. Alright, so a little different image to look at while I read tonight. What was the first one, Lord? What was this? Alright, I guess this one first, huh? Alright, fine. Here, we'll do this one first. Trust me and don't be afraid. Many things feel out of control. Your routines are not running smoothly. You tend to feel more secure when your life is predictable. Let me lead you to the rock that is higher than you and your circumstances. Take refuge in the shelter of my wings, where you are abundantly secure. When you are shaken out of your comfortable routines, grip my hand tightly and look for growth opportunities. Instead of instead of bemoaning the loss of your comfort, accept the challenges of something new. I lead you on from glory to glory, making you fit for my kingdom. Say yes to the ways I work in your life, and trust me, and don't be afraid. I called you out of darkness into my marvelous light. I brought you not only out of darkness, but into my royal family. I clothed you with my personal robe of righteousness, making you fit for my kingdom. You are one of my own special people, and you belong to me, and I delight in you. I have chosen you. I have chosen to use imperfect ones like you to proclaim my praises. I know you cannot do this as well as you would like. Actually, without my help, it is impossible for you to do. This gap between my call on your life and your ability to respond is part of my plan. It heightens your awareness of your utter insufficiency, but you are aware of mine. I allow you to connect your inability to my boundless sufficiency. Instead of focusing on your inadequacy, work on staying close to me. In everything you do, consciously rely on my help, living in the joyous wonder of self-forgetfulness. As you look to me for all you need, your face will reflect the light of my surpassing glory. All right, probably should have used the other image for that, but anyways, hopefully you guys can see that one. It's not the most clearest one thing in the world, but there's the spiritual realm. It's like ghostly images on the security cameras here. It's not like computer manipulated or anything like that, so that tells me that it's like the real thing. So there was that one, and so we had Revelation 12 come true. And there were many signs. There were more than just the star alignment. There was Nibiru and Nemesis. There was Mary and the angels that showed up. There was the woman holding the baby that showed up. I'll show you something else that showed up during that time frame. Another sign on the sun that nobody saw or even recognized as a sign on the sun. This event right here. I'll turn off the creepy Halloween music, but I'm sure you can see the face. It's there. It's bisected down the middle. It's got a half smiley, not smiley face, but just a regular half face of the sun on one side, dull, and then this side's all evil with a grin. And there was this covering up of it that lasted for about an hour. Right here, where something comes from the left, covers up the sun for an hour, and then moves upward. Okay? Whoops. Now, a lot of people say that's the camera rolling and everything, but when it does that, it usually leaves a nice smooth or round line. That did not leave a smooth line, and after doing that, my computer froze up with this face on it. So it had that face on the sun on September 10th, 2017. That's another sign in the sun. And then it did this as well. During that transition period where you see the shadow going up, if that was the camera, then why are these two sunspots still showing up if the aperture is only halfway closed, right? That's because this is a real face in the sun. My computer froze up with this face on it. This face does not appear, on the instrument in between the frames. There's one frame at 1 second that has the shadow down here, and the next frame, the next second, has the shadow clear up here, all right? There isn't a frame where the shadow is halfway like this. There is no frame. It doesn't exist in their records, yet my computer froze up with this face on it the same day it happened. That tells me that's a sign in the sun, don't you think? There were all sorts of other signs that day. And on that day, we had, what was it? Hurricane Ivan, I think it was, hitting... I'll have to go back and look it up again. But we had a nasty, nasty hurricane that was hitting the country at the time, and everybody was so focused on it that nobody even watched the sun that day, except for me. I watch it all the time. Anyways, some stuff you didn't know that happened on September 10th of 2017. Okay, that was a bunch of stuff that happened on that day, and nobody even really caught it or realized it. God showed it to me. It was like, hey, they all saw the woman, but they missed the dragon. Everybody saw the woman, but they all missed the dragon. And there were so many people out at that time doing Nibiru videos saying, oh, it's gonna, I got this lens flare, it's Nibiru, blah, blah, blah. But when it came down to the actual event, nobody captured it. They all missed it. Actually, NASA captured it and just didn't even recognize what they had. I'm surprised this hasn't been scrubbed or deleted still, that it's still out there, because some of the other satellite imagery of that day is gone now. It used to be out there, has been scrubbed now. So why would you scrub such an event if it weren't real? But surprisingly, it's still here on this. So you see the big old proton storm that it induced. That proton storm lasted for 10 days. So I'll pause it right afterwards real quick here. All right, you see all the sparkly effect on this side, right? For the next, 5 to 6 days, it's just sparkly like this, and it doesn't stop. It finally fades after 10 days. So that was a huge proton storm, debris, tail type event thing there. All right, so prophecy's coming true all over the place, and you guys aren't missing out. You guys are here seeing it. But a lot of the world's missing out. We're in the middle of it. We're at the end of it, and they're just still, I don't know, watching Monday Night Football, or I'll tell you what, knowing this knowledge and being out in public, it's frustrating sometimes, because I feel like I'm surrounded by this sea of zombies that are just stuck in their cell phone. I mean, I missed a green light today. We were all sitting at a red light. It turned green, but only 4 cars made it through the green light, because the first 2 cars were texting and finally looked up and went, oh, shoot, it's been green. By the time they went, only 2 cars were able to get in behind them, and it turned red again. So the rest of the people that were trying to get somewhere all had to wait while somebody else was being frustrating. I don't know. I'm just finding little things that I used to be patient with, are very getting frustrating and hard to tolerate. And if you guys are struggling with that as well, if not, prepare for it, because it's just getting more and more intense, and you're gonna need to rely on this photo more, or just this knowledge, this foundation, more and more as these days get more intense. Alright, I think that's about it. I'm going to try to find something else. What do you want me to look at? This one? Alright, fine. We're doing this one, I guess, now, too. Trust in me at all times. Pour out your heart to me, for I am your refuge. The more you rely on me, the more effectively I can help you. Trusting me is appropriate for all circumstances, joyful and sorrowful, peaceful and stressful. In fact, things that cause you distress can serve as reminders to seek my face. I want you to remember that I am with you, taking care of you even when your life hurts. Talk with me about your troubles and leave them with me. Then rest in my peace while I go to work on your behalf. Tell yourself the truth about me. Use words of Scripture to describe me. You are my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. I am indeed a refuge, a safe place to find shelter in the storms of life. Speaking or singing such truths is an effective way to draw near to me. Your mind usually has several thoughts or thought fragments passing through at once. Instead of just thinking about me, speak out loud. This gives focus to your thoughts and to your trust in me. Okay? So trust in me at all times. Good times and bad. Just remember, you're a divine entity. If you made it here to this channel, you're here for a reason. You didn't just stumble across this. You're here for a reason. All right? You're the elite. I keep calling you this because you are. The other elite are criminal, and I won't even call them that elite word. They're just a criminal. All right? You guys have elite knowledge. All right? That's what's really, truthfully worth something, is the knowledge, the wisdom. Okay, so you guys are the elite. You're one in a million. I get 300 views, and there's 300 million in this country, so do the math. You guys are my one in a millions out there. Okay, hope that sinks into you guys. Okay, hope this sinks into you guys. Hope it gives you strength and courage to go forward. You guys are the army of the Lord. You truthfully are. You're the one in a millions, the best of the best, the cream of the crop. That's why you're here. That's why you're still watching this and listening and learning as we continue on this journey. I thank you guys so much for your time and your patience with me and my funky technology and stuff. It's frustrating, but it's worth it. You know, I go through rough days, and at the end of the day, I look forward to doing this show. I have been through all kinds of battles just to be able to live stream to you guys, or bring videos, or just to bring hope, some knowledge, some encouragement. So after all I've been through, my gift is being able to stream and share this with you guys. So it's like a daily report I got to do. I got to have it done by a certain time. There's a deadline. But during the day, I'm a just add water dad type thing, where I play the dad during the day, and then at night, off comes the business suit, and on goes the cape, and I'm Superman. So kind of the dual identity thing. It's kind of fun, almost like the real thing in Superman, but in real life. So that's the joy I get out of it, is to bring you guys this knowledge and share, what I've learned and my experiences with you guys, to bring you hope, courage, and a foundation, an anchor to hold on to. Okay, someone to trust and believe in. All right, that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all dearly. Okay, I keep saying that. Why does he always say that? Why does he say he misses us? I'll let you guys figure that one out. Anyways, we're done with the show. And bless everybody out there. Keep praying for each other's endurance. Today, for me, was a true test of endurance. With physical pain, spiritual attacks, emotional attacks, and having to bear all three at the same time. You guys can do it. I know you can. All right? So just keep trudging. Keep your head up high. Keep your prayers. Stay positive. Don't let the devil steal your joy, because your joy is your strength. All right? And keep standing your ground. Keep fighting. Walk the walk instead of talking the talk. That's what it was really all about. It's not sitting there preaching this and that. It's actually getting out there and taking care of your fellow man. Doing it. Not just say you did it, you know? All right, that's it. I love y'all. I miss y'all. And until the next show, I'll be back. I am back. Can't you tell?